online brothels, sex bots, and simulated struggle snuggle. AI is ushering in a new age of violence against women's. So now that men are literally ignoring women and making their own fake ones, now that's still somehow violence against women. Only a woman could come up with something this stupid. And when social media first exploded, we missed our chance to protect women's and girls. Now history is repeating itself. Look, you realize women and girls are the primary addicts of social media, right? That's the only reason you don't want to do anything about it, because you don't want to risk pissing off the women's and girls. Society is sleepwalking into a nightmare. Well, it's only a nightmare if you're a parasite. If you're part of the bloat, yeah, it's a nightmare. The rate of global investment AI is rocketing as companies and countries invest in what has been described as a new arms race. Well, they did the same thing with the metaverse, to be fair, and look how that ended up. I think AI is obviously, it's here to stay, and it's going to be a lot more influential than the metaverse ever was. But it's not going to be as big as they're making it out to be, at least not right away. The Californian company NVIDIA, which dominates the market in the chips needed for AI, has become the most valuable company in the world. The trend has been dubbed an AI frenzy, with components described by analysts as the new oil or gold. Everyone is getting in on the act, and politicians are desperate to stake their country's claim as global leaders in AI development. Safeguards, equitable access, and sustainability are falling by the wayside, as they should in this case. When countries gathered from Paris AI Summit on February of current year and produced an international agreement pledging to an open, inclusive, and ethical approach to AI, the US and UK refused to sign it. Yeah, you want to know why? Because they actually want to compete. So all the companies that signed it likely have no serious chance at being a major player in the field anyway. So they're just trying to limit those that actually are doing it. That's my theory anyway. Like, the losers basically got together and tried to shackle the winners. And the winners just said no. And look, the US and UK, for all their flaws, they're smart enough to understand that if they shackle their own AI development, China won't. China's going to go all in, and as a result of the shackling, they're going to surpass everybody. So this is a smart move to not let the losers tell you what to do. It's worth asking who is benefiting from this headlong rush and at whose expense. Yeah, just like when we talked about gaming and how smaller studios are becoming more popular and doing better at the expense of the bloat, it's a similar situation. One developer who only goes by the name Lore in their communications with the media described open source release of the large language model Llama as creating a gold rush type of scenario. He used Llama to build Chub AI, a website where users can chat with AI bots and roleplay violent and illegal acts. For as little as $5 a month, users can access a brothel staffed by girls below the age of 15. All fictional, by the way. Described on site as a world without feminism. Now that sounds like a fucking paradise right there. Holy shit, man. I can only get so hard. Stop. I'm already sold. Or they can chat with a range of characters, including Olivia, a 13-year-old girl with pigtails wearing a hospital gown, or Reiko, your clumsy older sister, who's described as constantly having sexual accidents with her younger brother. Yeah, see, women can't fucking stand when someone or something else actually fulfills a man's sexual desires. Because, like, feminists have made it perfectly clear they don't care about men. They don't care about giving men what they want. But they still need men to pay all their bills, because these feminists are only strong and independent as long as men are paying the bills. So when anything comes around that satisfies men, they immediately try to destroy it. Like, they cannot have men being satisfied. Now, one thing they didn't consider, though, is that it is actually possible for men to completely just start ignoring their sex drives. If you remove all of their better outlets and all they have is feminist Trigglypuffs, they will just go the celibate route. That is one outcome that these women never expect. It's because they drink their own Kool-Aid. they've convinced themselves that men are dominated by their dicks and they always lose out to their sex drive. So when it doesn't happen, they're just shocked. They what? But I offered my vagina and he still said no. That's not supposed to happen. This $1 million money generator is just one of thousands of applications of this new technology and that are re-embedding misogynies deep in the foundations of our future. Now, I am a lot more worried about the fact that all this shit is a paid service that can shut down at any time, that can sell your data at any time, that could rat you out to the government at any time if any of this shit was retroactively made illegal. I would rather have all of this be like standalone. Yeah, on other sites, men can create, share, and weaponize fake intimate images to terrorize women and girls. Sex robots are being developed at breakneck speed. Yeah, women are starting to get worried. Like, shit. We keep saying we're more than just a pretty face and a pair of tits, and soon we're going to have to prove it. Already you can buy a self-warming, self-lubricating, or sucking model. Some manufacturers have dreamed up a frigid setting that allows the user to simulate struggle snuggle. Millions of men are already using AI companions, virtual girlfriends available and subservient 24/7, whose breast size and personality can customize and manipulate. These same women, by the way, have no problems with other women using vibrators, like degrading men by considering them nothing more than a penis. And using it as a tool. No, I'm kind of obviously using like their own quote unquote logic here. They don't have a problem with that. They don't have a problem relegating men to just tax slaves. They say they don't need men, yet they don't have a problem forcing men to work and taxing them at 50% to pay for all these with single mothers and women. They got no problem taking advantage of and abusing men. And that's why this scares them so much. Their worst nightmare is men waking up and just realizing we don't need these 304s. It is all over once most of the male population does that. Meanwhile, generative AI, which has exploded in popularity, has been proven to regurgitate and amplify misogynies and racism. Now, you know what it's doing? It's noticing patterns and it's learning. So the problem with feminism, like I keep saying, is it literally can't exist without the government forcing it on everybody. If feminism was left up to its own devices and didn't have the government's support, it would fall apart within hours, probably. Yeah, ideas so good, they need to be mandatory. That doesn't just describe socialism, that also describes feminism. So when they see anything breaking the conditioning, they get scared. And this is going to seem to be more of a concern when you realize just how much online content will soon be created by this new tool. Yeah, we might actually be going into another golden age of the internet. I see all this fear mongering about the dead internet theory and it's over. Like, well, I think it's going to be better than what it has been, because up like the past decade, we've been dealing with NPCs with less intelligence than your average chatbot on fucking Twitter. I think the AI, with AI in the mix, it might actually improve things. The AI might actually have something interesting to add to the discussion. Women's are at risk of being dragged back to the dark ages by precisely the same tech that promises to catapult men into a shiny new future. Why is that? Why won't this technology catapult women into the shiny new future too? Oh, right, because just like with small teams in gaming taking over. Yeah, the actual talented people are going to be better off than ever. The bloat that was dragging them back or holding them back, though, yeah, they're going to be left behind. Like, that's what's happening here. I think these women understand. They may not admit it, but they understand what's going on. This has all happened before, very recently. In fact, cast your mind back to the early days of social media. Started out the same way, a new idea harnessed by privileged white men. So men create something that changes the world. You could argue whether it was positive or negative all you want, but it created a lot of money, I guess. And immediately they start reading about it. Its origins in the patriarchal objectification of women's. Kuckerborg started out with a website called Face Mash, which allowed users to rank their attractiveness of female Harvard students, and constantly not said he had nothing to do with the origins of Facebook. Well, that's most likely true. Just because he made another website doesn't mean it had anything to do with Facebook. And second off, like the Guardian, they've really they've never been all that high quality, but they've really been dropping lately. This regard doesn't even understand that the internet's origins are with the fucking U.S. military. Yeah, the U.S. military and a few colleges that were helping them develop it. But never mind that. Yeah, it was totally like the entire internet was literally created to oppress women. This is how fucking stupid these people are. Like you want a perfect example of main character syndrome? That's what this is. These regards are so fucking delusional. They legitimately believe the internet was created by privileged white men solely to objectify and oppress women. Do you realize we're trying to get away from you? We want nothing to do with you. Fuck off. We're trying to leave you parasites behind. If you hate us so much, quit trying to claw at our fucking coattails already. Just let us walk away, you dumb 304, and then we'll both be happy, right? Women's, particular women's of color, raised their voices in concern. Some of the earliest objections to face masks came from Harvard's Forza Latina and Association of Harvard Black Women's Societies. They were ignored. Fakebook was born, and the rest is history. I agree Fakebook was a mistake, but it made a lot of people billions of dollars. Social media was rolled out at great speed back then. Kuckerborg's famous catchphrase, move fast and break things. What's the alternative? Just stay in grass huts? I mean, I think this article is a perfect example. If Whammons were in charge, we'd still be living in grass huts. Now, the things that got broken were societal cohesion, democracy, and mental health, in particular of girls. Yeah, these idiots have no self-awareness. Like, you realize that feminism is the cause of the decline of all of those things, right? Like TFM has been pointing this out for years, and he gets banned everywhere from it. But literally every country in the world, the pattern plays out the same. The more they empower their women, the more their society falls apart and the more unhappy women get. And yet it's somehow the patriarchy's fault, huh? Never that toxic ideology you've attached yourselves to. And by the time people start pointing out that online abuse was endemic to social platforms, those platforms are too well established and profitable for their owners to be prepared to make sweeping changes. Politicians seem too enamored with powerful tech lobby to be prepared to stand up to them. Yeah, let's just ignore the fact that these big tech companies have been censoring and banning anyone to the right of Stalin for decades now. Let's just pretend that's not happening. The results have been devastating. Young Whammons have taken their own lives after experiencing sexualized cyberbullying. Just completely ignore all the men that have taken their own lives from false accusations, though. An alarming number of female parliamentarians have stepped down from office after experiencing intolerable levels of online abuse. So they're too fucking stupid to just turn the computer off. So you realize that the men get more abuse than the women in general, and somehow they're able to deal with it? If you are such a weak little bitch that you leave your political position crying because I was cyberbullied, you have no business running a fucking country. This is good. We need more of this. These weak snowflake ass bitches have no business being in the government. They have no business running anything. What's going to happen the first time a real emergency comes up? They're just going to be too stressed to do anything about it. They're just going to run crying to the nearest man. This makes a good filter. That's right. We don't want these women in positions of power. Millions of whammies have been subject to struggle, snuggle, and death threats because that doesn't happen to men. Doxing because that doesn't happen to men. Online stalking because that doesn't happen to men. Racist and misogyny's abuse. I mean, there's way more misandry on the internet than misogyny, but let's just ignore that. Oh my God, this is just fucking nuts, man. Man, you know, this actually reminds me of a coworker I used to have a few years ago. This guy was so fucking stupid and brainwashed. He legitimately believed there were no left-wing news outlets. There was only far-right outlets and unbiased, neutral sources. He was actually so fucking stupid, he did not see any left-wing bias anywhere. Like that is what I'm reminded of when I read ignorant drivel like this. Yeah, sounds like a Redditor. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if he spent most of his time there. Now, we failed to prevent this crisis when we didn't heed the warning caused in the early days of social media. Now, you know, she's actually right in a way. Remember how awesome the internet was in the early days? We failed to heed the warnings and we allowed normies to ruin everything. We should have gate kept them. And we're gonna in the future. That's what pisses them off the most. All these new platforms that are cropping up, they're actually gatekeeping now. They've been bitching about fake gatekeeping for so long. Now they're going to experience the real thing, and I bet they're going to be furious. You know, we now risk squandering a similar opportunity. Without urgent action, we'll be doomed to repeat the same mistakes with AI, only this time on a far larger scale. One of the reasons many of us do have concerns about the role of AI is because over the past 40 years as society, we've basically given up on actually regulating technology. Good. As long as it's not actually endangering someone, stay the fuck out. Social media is our first encounter with dumb AI, and we utterly failed that encounter. If anything, I think the real turning point with social media was it exposed to the world just how fucking stupid your average person is. Look, social media killed the celebrity as well. Because when celebrities were able to interact with their fans directly instead of going through 7 layers of PR, all those fans now see just how fucking stupid and deranged your average celebrity is. And then all the rest of us who aren't celebrities, we can just look out and see just how dumb your average normie is. We're all starting to realize that, yeah, you know what? I think we made a mistake not gatekeeping. We let the normies in and they've ruined everything they've infested. So yeah, these new spaces that are being built up with the help of AI, they're going to be gatekept. So just like with gaming, we're leaving the bloat, we're leaving the parasites behind, and the parasites aren't happy about it. If women's and marginalized communities have already learned from their frequent mistreatment on social media to self-censor, to disguise their real names, and to mute their voices, wow, what a stupid 304. The only people that have to do that are anyone that's to the right of Stalin. These coping mechanisms and restrictive norms will follow them when they step into new technological environments. Nearly 9 in 10 WAMMs polled in a current year -5 economist study said they restricted their online activity in some way as a result of cyber harassment, hacking, online stalking, and doxing. This applies to literally everybody. And guess what? It fucking should. It's called being careful and taking responsibility for your own. See, these are the same idiots that go out saying, well, I shouldn't feel unsafe walking through the bad crime-ridden neighborhood at 3 a.m. It shouldn't be my responsibility to worry about my own safety and make right decisions. That's the level of fucking idiot we're dealing with here. This is just pathetic, man. Reading articles like this actually make me want society to collapse, because that's the only way they're ever going to get perspective in their lives. These privileged, whiny little bitches have never had a real problem in their life. And that's why they can afford to say stupid shit like this. They need to experience actual suffering at least once in their life, or they will never change. Now, this helps to explain the disparity between men's and women's use of AI. 71% of men ages 18 to 24 say they use it weekly. Only 59% of women's do so. That's not even that much of a difference. So long as men remain the main users of AI, the technology will be designed to cater to their preferences. Wow, that's the first smart thing this dumb 304 has said in this whole article. Yeah, you're right. They want to cater to their actual audience. So why don't you try to get more women to use it? Yeah, because they're not going to be willing to pay for it, are they? The answer isn't to reject the new technology or ignore the enormous potential. Instead, we should ensure regulations and safeguards are implemented when AI is designed before the products are rolled out to the public, in much the same way they are within other industries. Yep, and that is exactly what's going to kill a country's competitiveness. So let's imagine the U.S. and Airstrip One listened to this idiot and implemented all this crap. Like I said earlier, China won't. The US is gonna kneecap themselves. UK is gonna kneecap themselves. Europe's gonna kneecap themselves. Australia's gonna kneecap themselves, but China won't. And guess where all the customers are gonna go when China's AI is 30 times better? And then these same idiots are gonna be whining that China's pulling ahead. I thought people should be aware, said Layla R. Bravo, then president of Fuerza Latina, when she tried to raise the alarm at Harvard over the nascent Face Smash website in current year minus 22. This time, might someone listen? If you haven't learned anything in 22 years, I think we shouldn't listen to you. I myself, even, I would be a lot happier if I wasn't reading drivel like this. But I gotta suffer to entertain the rest of you, I guess. It isn't too late for political leaders to stand up to big tech. The harms of this technology aren't rooted in a future dystopia where robots take over the world. AI is already devastating the lives of women and girls right now. If people realize this, they might desire to do things differently. Oh no, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We already realize this, and it makes us want to push further. Oh, look, the most privileged leisure class in history is finally experiencing a little bit of inconvenience. Dude, let's keep pushing this. This is great. You realize that when you treat men the way you do, like, you can kind of get a feeling of these feminazis by reading articles like this. It's funny how you expect men to be even remotely sympathetic to you when you clearly are openly hostile towards and hate them. Nah, man, we ran out of sympathy for you social vampires. You're on your own just like we are.